Hi, this is Peck and Call. I'm
And
Call.
I'm Peck.
This is our fourth entry to our
Pehk and
podcast.
Kallabs.
You're gonna just interrupt me every time, huh?
Yep.
You just won't let me do my shtick.
I'm sorry, go right ahead.
Thank you. At today's podcast, we have Starrapter.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, what's up?
It's a pleasure to meet
Thanks
you.
for thanks for having me. I look forward to this awesome discussion we're gonna have.
So, Starrapter's a YouTuber, a little like us, but a little different. Tell me, Star, what would you say a summary of your channel might be?
Yeah, it is actually kind of hard to summarize because I'm usually all over the place, but mostly I'm focused on pop culture. So anything from gaming to movies to TV series. A lot of emphasis is on Star Wars. I do a lot of reviews on the books, the comics, the
That's
video
awesome.
games. I do some Let's Plays, some gameplay of games like Sea of Thieves, but I'll go out and I'll see like the latest movies, review them. I do convention type videos where I'll do like cosplay compilations, and I'll do reactions to certain trailers and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm pretty much all over the place. If there's something big happening, I'm usually trying to talk about it in some way. So yeah, I try to have fun, and it's my little outlet for just going all geek.
Yeah.
So that is at youtube.com/starrapter. Yep.
Go check it out, guys. There will be a link down below. Uh, but also, the topic of today's podcast is geek culture conventions. We're talking not just Star Wars conventions, but anything really revolving around TV, television. Peck, weren't you recently at a convention?
I
Little,
was. I
little
was at,
gem?
yep, Anime Boston actually. Let's see, one of the highlights, I didn't realize it right away, but in the game room where, there's all the video games and such,
Mm.
I found myself playing Smash Brothers with some of the New England Patriots.
What?
They were guests this
No.
year, and I didn't realize it until I saw an Instagram post.
This piece of garbage had the odd. I skipped this year. I skipped Anime Boston. I had to for personal reasons. But he DMs me a picture of these four big, like NFL looking guys, but they're covered in anime swag. They got their Crunchyroll bags and all these other different bags. Like they were in the dealer's room. And the title goes, Pat's O linemen visit Boston convention. And I'm like, what?
That's crazy.
Because Peck doesn't care about football.
I like to play
that's my
football. I don't
other
like to
life.
watch it.
Our Lord and Savior Tom Brady, may he forever
Retire.
reign. But and so just that timing's everything, really.
Mm-hmm.
So Starrapter, what was the most recent convention you've been to?
Oh, okay. I just went to my first Star Wars celebration. It was over in Chicago, and it's literally a convention only for Star Wars. Like I've been to plenty of conventions in the last couple of years, and they're general conventions. So usually comic conventions that include every aspect of pop culture, from games to anime, like you guys said, to TV shows, stuff like that. So to be at a convention where it was just 100% Star Wars kind of blew my mind, because like that's my favorite fandom of out of everything. I've loved Star Wars since I was 4 or 5, and I've been looking on trying to actually get to Celebration like the last couple of years, and they always do a good job. Like Star Wars, they have the YouTube live stream, and you could pretty much sit there, and if you're at home and you can't make it to the convention, you could watch like all the stuff going on while it's happening. And I've always been that guy who was sitting there at home just like, oh man, these guys are having a blast, and I'm stuck here. Like I can't miss another one. So I had to get down to
I know
Chicago.
exactly how you feel. I used to I still just stream BlizzCon. I've
Oh
never
yeah,
gone,
yeah, yeah.
but just like that convention, I really would like to go there. But it being on the other side of the country, it's like, ooh, how do you swing that without having any reason to be there otherwise? It's a little tough, but yeah,
Yeah.
going from streaming to the actual live stage, that would be crazy.
Yeah, that's actually where it's going to be next year. Star Wars Celebration is going to be Anaheim. So yeah, I'm biting the bullet and I'm gonna go because I had so much
Madman.
fun. And it's like, dude, I just got to get out to the West Coast. Anaheim Convention Center. I believe that's where BlizzCon is usually anyway. But yeah, oh yeah, man, it's just a blast being part of like of this group of people where everybody is there for the same thing. Everybody's just enjoying themselves, and it's like this collaborative like spirit where everybody's just going nuts. It's like
Yeah.
it was 5 days. Which first off, I've never been to a convention for 5 days. I go to New York Comic Con every year, which is 4, which is a lot. But just to be 5 days, a whole nother day tacked on there, with all the panels, with all the stuff going on after the doors close the convention center. It's a whole nother thing going on with everybody, going to bars and different things, little after parties, stuff
Yeah,
like that.
the after con scene. It's
Oh yeah.
totally different.
Oh yeah. For instance, like the one AfterCon experience we had the first night, in Celebration, it was at this museum, this air and science aviation science museum. I forget the name exactly, but anyway, they basically had the 501st Legion, who, if you guys aren't
I know
familiar,
them.
they are the organized costumer group recognized from Lucasfilm that do charity work, and they make the amazing costumes that are like 100% movie accurate. They actually threw this party, and they had like the Canto Bite theme where it was like all these casino games that they had, and you had these little chips you could play. It wasn't for real money or anything, obviously, but it was just a cool experience to be in this huge museum they had opened up, and you see all the people in costume, which just, it was great. I'll be honest, like seeing these people like having these creative costumes where it was like stormtroopers wearing suits, and like lots of like Twi'lek aliens with the head tails, like girls like spray paint their
Always
whole bodies
impressive.
to be blue or green, and Jawas that had like glittery robes just to like be on the dance floor. It was a trip, man, and that was pretty much like how the entire trip is just like insanity. Like at one point there was another bar I'd gone to, and there was a guy who was on stilts wearing like wampa legs. He had like a slave Leia bikini on, and he was like,
So you're
like
at this convention center turning corners, and then Wampa. The hell?
yeah, it was absolutely bizarre. And I was like, this only happens at a freaking Star Wars convention. I mean, come on.
Damn Wampas. Get them registered town hall. Running rampant.
Oh, the best.
Yeah, yeah, and the fact that the showroom floor experience is really cool because like everybody's there just mingling, even the actors, even the people that are voice actors. Like I was just shopping around a little bit for this at this t-shirt stand, and I hear this deep voice behind me that's like asking somebody like, oh, do you have any Darth Vader shirts here? And I look around, and it's actually a voice actor for Star Wars, and he actually does. It's not James Earl Jones.
I was gonna say, if there was freaking J. Earl Jones, you're looking at me. That behind you, a man says, "You got any Darth Vader swag?" Not you, man.
but anyway, yeah, I recognized him, and he's the guy that plays Jarek Eager on Star Wars Resistance animated series, and he's doing the voice for Darth Vader in that Vader Immortal VR game and all that. I was like, oh man,
you still got a
cool.
Darth.
Yeah.
Darth Vader was still. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So there's lots of little instances like that where I would be like running into like Tim Zahn, who's a legendary author for freaking the Thrawn trilogy and all that. Like you just run into these people and you're like, dude, that just made my day. And it was like, but you would have like every 5 or 10 minutes I'd be running into YouTubers that I knew, and I'd be like, hey, we talked for like 5 years, and I'm actually now running into you for the first time. As you guys are YouTubers, I'm sure you watch a lot of different people and talk to people online.
You get to know the mega stars, but then you kind of find these like mid stars that you feel like you're the only one watching them, but you know other people are.
Yeah,
haven't like transcended really.
Yeah, especially with how the celebration is such like a niche part of the community. Like everybody's like Star Wars fans and mostly in the world, but then you get the Uber fans that show up to this thing. They're coming from all over the place. Like I met people from freaking Japan and all over the freaking world. Lots of Australians were there. People from Germany, Italy, South America, like all over the freaking place. It was really like an international type of get together.
That's wild.
Yeah, and like I'd be walking and there'd be like I go to a panel. I got out of the panel, and there was like 4 or 5 people that all knew each other from YouTube and stuff, and we're like, "Hey, we got to get a picture, man." There's like all these YouTubers. It was like we all ended up in the same place, like small freaking world, right? Like we all ended up in Chicago, and it feels like it's like everybody kind of knows each other a little bit, but they just never met. So it was this really surreal kind of experience, and I'm sure everybody had a great time, but I feel like my time was really great just because I've been part of the community for so long that it was like a great kind of networking
Coming
type of
together. Yeah.
experience. And yeah,
Yeah. I think the conventions now are serving that kind of a follow up purpose of just connecting people who've been working on stuff all year, and they kind of get to come here and be like, wow, I've seen all your stuff throughout the last year, you know, and then you get to kind of meet other creators and see what they're up to. And it's always kind of a place to kind of check in to see, if everyone's, dialed in, caught up.
yeah, especially because in years past, that's all Celebration really was. Because there was like the dark times where there really wasn't anything up but like the Clone Wars animated series. Like at that time they were like, nope, no more movies. This is it. We're gonna have Celebration, but we're gonna just hang out and have a party all weekend.
Oh,
Now
yeah.
it's like you got like every single day of the convention this year. It's like the first day was like the Rise of Skywalker trailer. Everybody was talking about that. Then the next day it was the new Jedi Fallen Order game. Everybody was talking about the trailer from that. So it's very much like a big like news cycle. But as much as I like that stuff, like the best part was just meeting people, hanging out with friends. That still is like the major focus. That's why I want to go so bad to Anaheim now, because I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to just hang out with you guys again a year from now. So it's gonna be awesome.
Rad.
Yeah.
Haven't been to New York Comic Con yet. That's kind of on my list, mainly because of
Ooh,
how close it is to us.
Mm-hmm.
you gotta check it out. Believe it or not, I just bought my 4-day pass today.
Ooh.
They just put the tickets on sale. It's unbelievable. The amount of people that show up to this thing every year. I feel like they gain like 50,000 new people that go to this thing. It is like so much exploded into like this huge event. What I really enjoy about it now is like it actually is a convention that forces you to explore New York City. For instance, like a lot of the big panels and stuff spill out into like the other areas. You actually have to walk out of the convention center through the streets of New York to actually get to other places like the Hammerstein Ballroom. They have really big panels there, and they actually have the Madison Square, not the actual arena, but they have like this theater that holds like 5,000 people. That's where they'll have like the big Marvel shows. We'll have panels with The Walking
Mm.
Dead, and it's very much this awesome experience that kind of forces you to walk around all of New York City. And like, I mean, you have all the restaurants there. It's very easy to navigate. So like that's why I've been going there the last 5 years. For me, I take the train in because I live in New Jersey, so I'm not too far away. Luckily, I just
Mm.
kind of commute every single day back and forth. But
What time
oh
of the
yeah,
month does Comic Con happen?
yeah, it's actually the first week of October.
I
Oh.
see.
So the weather is always perfect because it's like never too hot. It's not too cold. Um, Most of the time, I mean, it's been raining a couple times that I have gone there, but I don't let that bother me too much. But as far as getting access to tickets, you got to really pay attention to the website because they will send up like different reminders for dates that you have to set up for. Like they have this fan verification system in play where it's basically a system that allows people like to bypass, like try to get rid of scalpers, because that was a big deal. Is
Yeah.
people would buy a ton of tickets and put them on whatever site and charge triple for them,
Yeah. They
especially
try to limit
nowadays.
the amount you can buy initially.
Yeah. So you have to go through this whole approval thing of your email address, and then you have to do this other thing. So there's a lot of jumping through hoops, and then that's the beginning, because then when the tickets go on sale, it's like this super stressful situation. Like for instance, me today, I was waiting in queue for almost 2 hours until I got my damn tickets. And then while I'm waiting, they're like, oh, 75% of the 4-day ticket pass is sold out in like an hour and a half. I'm like, oh,
Panic.
geez. And I'm sitting there like, come on, I don't have all day. This thing sells out. But that was the pre-sale. They're gonna do a general sale for people like you guys that haven't gone before, to try to get in. So
Us.
definitely, yeah, the cosplay, the costumes at New York Comic Con is on another level. Like it's unbelievable. Like the people that show up to this thing with like, you know, hundreds of hours even for some of these costumes that people make. It's freaking spectacular.
Oh yeah, I've seen quite a few at Anime Boston. There's been a couple that have really caught my eye. The dude with a working Iron Man suit was pretty rad.
Oh man.
Like it wasn't like he could get in and out, but he was able to close the helmet
Yeah.
around his face, and then he had jets, maneuverable jets on his back. Pretty
Wow.
detailed stuff.
Yeah, one of the fun things I've seen, because what's really cool about New York Comic Con is they have this one they have lots of little nooks and crannies where you'll see the cosplayers like walking and taking photo shoots and stuff. And they have this one place that's kind of like in this tunnel, and that's where you'll see like a lot of these like professional photographers like set up all their equipment, and it's like this cool little like lighting down there and stuff. So you'll see a lot of the big awesome cosplayers walking through, and at one point they have like cosplay meetups. They'll have people from a certain fandom,
Oh yeah,
a
the
certain
meetups.
theme show up, and they had the Overwatch squad, and they had literally like a full size
Yeah.
Reinhardt. And the craziest part was they actually had, I forget his name, the voice actor of Reinhardt, like walking around with a freaking megaphone behind this guy as he was walking through doing the voice lines.
Fight me!
Yeah, it was crazy because then you have all the other Overwatch cosplayers like flanking Reinhardt as they were walking through this tunnel. It was freaking crazy. But like that stuff is like you get used to it, right? Like you're at these conventions, you're like, oh yeah, I've seen that before. You after you've been there for 2 or 3 days, it's like, oh, this becomes like normal. Like you're just like, oh, there's just another Reinhardt. No big deal, you know. It's just like,
Just Reinhardt,
Just
son of a
Reinhardt,
gun.
know.
Hey,
So
Pat,
have
what
Yeah.
is the what was one cosplay you think really caught your eye?
Well, I don't
Made you
mean
go, wow.
nothing to not to bash this year, but nothing really caught my eye. Well, not mainly because I didn't have the time to just stick around and appreciate things because I was on shift and whatnot. But I know last year there was one that was absolutely bonkers.
Yeah.
Some guy made like this complete decked out LED armor of based on the Pokemon Metapod, but like it looked really good. Like
whoa.
I'm actually gonna I'll show a picture after this, but oh my god, was it
Well, I'll have
absolutely
to
stunning?
put a picture of that in here.
Yeah,
Def.
we'll throw it on the thing. But yeah, no, that there was that one. But what was that? What was the other one? The Liger Zero from Zoids. Like this guy had
I know that
yeah,
guy.
he has a full outfit, and when he goes on all fours, it looks complete. It's completely natural. It's
Wow.
like
That guy has been coming to that convention for at least 5 years as Liger Zero.
yeah, like there's people I've met where the second the con ends, they're already working on whatever they're doing all the way up until the following year. Like they just don't stop.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
very yeah.
It's an addiction.
It's very much like I've talked like I do cosplays, but they're very simple.
Yeah.
I do a couple Luke Skywalkers, like I have the X-wing orange suit one. I do the yellow jacket from A New Hope, and I do Return of the Jedi. And I'm not like hardcore or anything. I get help in the costumes from other people because I'm not that crafty.
Yeah.
But it's something that you're constantly improving. Most people will say like, oh yeah, I got to work on this for next time. I'll add this little detail for the next time. So it seems like it never does end for these hardcore cosplayers for the most part.
And
Yes.
so, yeah. So, are there any conventions that you could recommend to me or Pehk? Just to let you know, we're in more of the New England area.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So like I've been to I'm fortunate enough to live in a great area where I'm in between Philly and in between New York. So I can go to both different places pretty easily. But like I just I can't recommend New York Comic Con enough. But they also have Wizard World, which is a great con. That's like a traveling con. Have you ever been there before? Or?
I've never heard of Wizard World.
No, what?
Sounds like
Really?
a park. Yeah.
Tell me more.
Oh, Wizard World. Okay, so it's different. Like I said, it's almost like a circus in a way, where it's like this traveling convention where they'll get some of the actors from they have a very good access link to top talent. Like the one year that I went, they had like half the cast from Civil War there. Like it was like
Whoa.
Anthony Mackie, Chris Evans, Tom Hiddleston. It was unbelievable. I'm like,
Whoa.
how does this?
That's A plus?
I was like, how does this convention even afford these people, right? Like it's
Did they
insane.
have to kidnap some babies? What is going on at Wizard World?
Seriously, they had a panel with them on there and everything. It was crazy. So yeah, the Wizard World is cool because it travels around. So I'm guessing that it doesn't go to Boston or something if you've never heard of it.
Well, if you keep kidnapping kids' babies, you'd have to travel around.
Yeah.
That
Like
one's
a
cool
Captain
though.
America's dog? What is
They always have like a cool like gaming area where they have sometimes like they have like Super Smash Brother tournaments like on the floor though, and it looks very much like an esports arena. Like it's pretty cool. They have like big screens and different angles and stuff like that. But other than that, it's like a typical convention. I mean, you got your vendor floor with all your normal T-shirt vendors and action figure vendors. But then it's just a mixture of everything, really. It's just like your normal con, but like I said, they're
Ah,
able to draw in some top name talent for sure. They had Jason
oh,
Momoa. They had the Flash
Ooh.
from
which
the
Flash?
DC movies. Um, the Ezra Miller one or whatever. The dude from
Yeah,
Justice
you
League.
got it. You got it.
Yeah.
Mr. Miller. Yeah. From that stinker.
Ooh.
Didn't hate him in that. Did not hate him at all.
No.
Well, that's a whole other discussion entirely.
Damn, just the name Wizard World just is like it sounds like just
It's electrifying.
yeah, it's like Dad, I want to go to Wizard World. It's just like
Yeah, no,
one
it's
of those
like-
pretend convention theme park names you see in a cartoon.
I want to go on the line ride.
Yeah, LineCon. Yeah.
Oh.
So I have a question for you actually, Peck.
Yeah.
So you said you've been volunteering
Yep.
at conventions. Now, how has that been? Like what stuff do you usually be in charge of? Is it different every year? Like
Well, I can't. And
unfortunately, no, I'm not a huge anime guy for the
No,
most part.
that's fine. Anyway, that like basically just such a delight. Honestly, like I
Okay.
never want to be an attendee. ever
Our
again.
last guest really liked JoJo.
Oh my
and
god, he did.
He made me the odd one out.
It's
so I'm
okay.
glad you don't know what
We'd be here for hours. I reckon.
Yeah, that's the thing because it really these conventions really thrive on people volunteering or helping run these things, or else there's so many people that are walking around that have questions and having to sort people out and different things like that. So it is good to have people step up and I mean because you get the free admission and all that anyway. So it's like
Yeah.
I guess you work a couple hours and then you go have your fun too. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now Boston, that's actually a place I've been wanting to go for the PAX East actually. It's a huge
That's
gaming convention.
another one that we haven't gotten the pleasure going to. Funny story about PAX East. One year they planned PAX East at the exact same weekend as Anime Boston.
Whoa.
So Anime Boston's the largest anime convention in New England. It's definitely nothing to snuff at. And needless to say, that was a disaster.
I remember that.
Wait, so were they at the same convention hall?
No, but they were happening in the same city at the same time.
Oh,
Boston's not a gigantic city. It's kind of got its nooks and crannies, but yeah, it was asking a lot of people basically, pick or choose.
yeah, that's crazy to me. I mean, most cities only really have like one big convention center to begin with, so usually that doesn't really happen. But that seems like I mean, it could have been fun in a way where like that whole
was
city.
fun in a way because you had people going to both, and they were hopping in between both panels. Like, did you just see what happened at PAX East? I gotta go tell my friend over at the Heinz. He's had a Naruto panel right now.
Oh wow. And that's kind of what they did at New York Comic Con last year, though, actually, because they were playing around with having an anime convention, like literally right next to.
It's really getting popular. What I'm noticing is a lot of, Peck just said it, a lot of sports athletes are into anime. A lot of guys in the NFL, if you look at, so the NFL players can decide what type of shoes they wear. That's like their personal ad space. So
Mhm.
a lot of guys will get these really cool designs. I know one guy had the Joker for his designs, and he was on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. and then another dude had Vegeta style
Really?
cleats, and they have these cool little graphics of the characters on them.
And he'll play with those?
They'll play with them on nationwide TV.
Really? That's crazy.
Tackling people with comic book characters on his feet.
That's really
That's so cool.
Such a long way. Really bringing us all together, huh?
Yeah. Actually, those
You think it's shonen anime or like?
Oh no, one of them, like in the picture, one of them had a Naruto headband, baseball cap. It's like we know what you watch, pal.
Wow. Wow.
But yeah.
All right. So I also wanted to say, Star, you've been doing some Game of Thrones reviews, right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We got recording this episode. We got 1 hour left until the next episode.
Just gonna say, I'm keeping my eye on the corner of my computer screen. I'm like, what time is it?
Oh yeah.
Not yet. Yeah, we'll be doing a live reaction. Well, not a live reaction, animated reaction of those episodes.
Sweet.
Yeah, we've me and my partner Zarnell. Her character's a dragon. We record ourselves watching the episode, and then I animate the good parts because I can't animate the entire episode. I'll never finish.
That's impressive, though. That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. So, what do you think about this season of Game of Thrones so far? I just wanted to pick your brain on that.
Yeah, so I mean, we had 3 episodes. Now, the first 2 episodes, well, the first episode especially, was just like, okay, we're back. It's been what, like a year and a half, almost 2 years. Yeah, it was very much like, okay, here's coming back full circle, right? Like all these characters that have met, like some characters haven't seen each other since like season 1, episode 1, like Arya and Jon, and you have these characters coming back, and it's like, wow, this is crazy. They're all back at Winterfell. They're at the same place, and then the next episode was all very much like, this is our last night. A lot of us won't make it. You know, how are we going to deal with this? And so I did like how they came in kind of a little bit on the slow side, but it just hammers home like how much you like these characters, like why we continued watching this show for 8 years or something like that, because these characters they've built it up so much that we actually are attached. We're invested. Yeah, we're invested, and then it all comes to a head in the last episode of last week, where it was just carnage everywhere. And yeah, there's a lot of controversy online about that episode.
Spoilers if you are a Game of Thrones fan and for some reason have not seen the episode. Spoilers incoming.
Yeah, so were you guys for the episode, or were you kind of underwhelmed by it? Because I loved it.
So I'm more of the Game of Thrones aficionado here.
I haven't watched any of it yet.
Oh no.
So I'll say this. I do feel that everyone's like, oh, it's not the spirit of Game of Thrones. The body count wasn't high enough. Everyone had plot armor. And I'm sitting here going, there's 4 episodes left. They have to use plot armor, or what are you going to do? Kill all your actors? Who's going to tell the story?
It's so ironic, right? Because like people used to be like, they're killing too many people. They're killing too many people. They can't keep doing this. They gotta slow it down. Now all of a sudden they want more people to die. It's like, make up your minds, people.
Yeah, I mean, this is what George R.R. Martin did. He's like, all right, I want to do something a little different, and so he makes extra characters for the full purpose is for you to like them, so he can kill them off. They are non-essential to the plot. They aren't going to be there in the end. He knows that. So he kind of just places these characters in all of these different scenarios so that when he really feels it's time, bam, kills them off. But now the rivers run dry. You can't introduce anybody new. There's not enough time to build that relation with them at all.
No.
So we were just we got a taste. I feel like they ran a popularity contest, and whoever lost was gonna get killed off.
Oh man, because like literally some of my favorite characters like Theon and Jorah, man, and the way they went out, I thought it was brilliant. I thought it went out like redeemed, like especially Theon. Like I feel like he got redeemed in the end after all his horrible actions towards the
He's the
Starks at Winterfell, and
man. He was the MVP of the season.
yeah,
He rescues his sister. He comes back. He's like, "I'll protect Bran," and it's like, what has anyone else done for 2 episodes? Theon, MVP.
that is true. That is true, man. I like say what you will about the guy, but I've always had a soft spot for the guy. I mean, he's trying to increase his power and you know different things like that, like everybody else pretty much is, and he just got handed the short end of the stick at one point by Ramsay, and then he's been coming back ever since. So I like to see that he finally came back to his former self in the end. You know.
And what other show, whatever major television show, has 2 major characters that don't have a dick? That no, they had one, but it is gone now.
Yeah, I don't think I
Blows
can think
my
of it.
mind a little bit.
They go places you never would expect.
Like you would think, 1, well, that's outrageous. 2, how do so many people watch this show? How?
Yeah,
Ugh.
Yeah, but then you had Jorah Mormont. I thought he had a great end with, you know, the poor guy. I mean, his whole life he was trying to get the attention of Daenerys, and he keeps coming back. He keeps coming back. In the end, he's the honorable knight that will do anything just to protect his queen. You know.
Yeah, we all got to protect our queen. Smiles you couldn't save, Pehk.
Eh,
I don't want to talk
You know,
about it.
so I don't know if you heard, you probably did. That actor's going to be Batman, Bruce Wayne in Titans.
what?
Yeah. Titans season 2, he signed up to be Bruce Wayne. So I'm guessing he's going to probably just yell at the Robin character all day for being stupid. I think it'll be worth a watch.
So Jorah Mormont is gonna be Batman.
He died, Sir Jorah. He will rise as Bruce Wayne.
Oh man.
Pretty solid segue, if you ask me.
So did you watch Titans season 1 or
Not yet. Because it's free everywhere else in the world. Not free, but it's on Netflix everywhere else in the world.
really?
Yep. So and this goes out to everyone, if you have a VPN service, just get your Netflix through Canada, watch Titans. It's amazing.
Yeah, okay, so that ties back into New York Comic Con because last year I went to the world premiere of Titans. They were screening it, and they showed us the first 2 episodes, and I was kind of like I had a mixed reaction to it. Like I understood that they were trying to go uber violent, but it was like, holy crap! Like you have Robin cursing up a storm and literally killing people. He's literally killing people. I'm like, what the hell is going on here? This is definitely a different take on these characters. And I was a little bit overwhelmed, and I was like, okay, they're going straight for that Daredevil Marvel Netflix kind of feel.
That's good. And it looks like I like their version better because in the Marvel versions, they really didn't have a lot of special effects. They focused a lot more on choreography with the
Yeah,
actors. Because martial arts being its like Grant Stone of its centerpiece, just kind of tying in all the characters a little bit. Because the bad guy of that series was it looked like an ancient Chinese kind of order of folks. So
yeah, the hand, yep.
yeah, the hand. And I think it would be better if there was just more, I'll just say it, like CGI magic flying across the screen, something. Because it got a little stale after a while.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. So what you're saying is Titans has a lot more CG and a lot more elements like that. Well, I mean, you have that one character, right? Well, actually, multiple characters use magic in some sense, I guess, whatever you want to call it. Like, what is her name? Starfire?
Yeah.
And then you have Raven, who that was crazy. Like, the first 2 episodes, like she was going just off the wall with whatever the heck was the demon possessing her, right?
Yeah, and I didn't think that this was gonna. I thought this was gonna bomb this series. When I saw the character designs, I was like,
Yeah.
I thought they were. When I first saw it, I thought, oh, is this like a cosplay group? They did a good job.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, wait, what? This is a TV paid costume?
Wait, is that the one where Starfire looks like Carrot Top the comedian?
A little, yeah. She's got the very curled up,
very
red
curly
hair.
orange hair.
And then for some reason they're like, give her a fur jacket, because that's something any superhero would wear.
Yeah, she looked like she was on a night on the town.
Yeah, so with DC Universe in general, they've been pretty much on fire, it kind of seems like, because then they came out with Doom Patrol. And Doom Patrol is apparently, like, people say you have to watch this show. Like, it's incredible. It's got Brendan Fraser, and it's got Alan Tudyk as the freaking villain, like K2SO and freaking dude from Firefly. Like,
oh, you're gonna have to stop now. You're gonna have to hold on, because I gotta finish Game of Thrones before I go into another realm here. Get all caught up.
Yeah, then they have that Swamp Thing coming out. I've seen the trailer for that. It looks pretty interesting.
I know a little bit about Swamp Thing. I've seen some. He's been in some animations through DC. Who does work? What was it called? Justice League Dark with Constantine and Deadman.
Justice League Dark.
Yeah, it's like they kind of protect Earth from magical threats.
Okay.
And Swamp Thing is part of their team in some instances. It's kind of, I don't want to say, it's not like Suicide Squad, but it's like, hey, how about an alternate team of superheroes?
I like that idea. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you should check out the animation movie of it. It's really good.
Yeah, I'm surprised because, like, I don't have it already, but I'm thinking, like, man, I might have to actually pick up DC Universe because that's what it's called, right? The streaming service?
I believe so, yes.
Because they have access to, like, all those animated movies, too, and the series, and they have lots of comics that you can browse through.
Man, did this turn into a DC plug? Do they even need it?
Yeah, because, well, here's the thing. At first, people were like, "Oh man, this thing is like trash. Like is it really worth like $8 or whatever it is a month?" And now they're like, "Oh, this thing's still afloat." Like, I'll be honest with you, I was expecting this thing to like just fail. I was like, "You're specifically having this service on one thing only, like just DC stuff. Like, is there enough content there to really have this entire thing dedicated to that, you know?"
Because I'll tell you, Netflix, from what I hear, they have to keep taking bank loans out to keep up. They are drowning in it.
I actually
found
a friend of mine who actually subscribed to DC Universe, wherever that is. Apparently, they now have every comic available on there to read. So that's what he's been doing.
That's what I hated about the service. I was ready to pull the trigger, and then I found out like they would only have like issue 25 of Titans, or issue only the number issue 30, and then issue 45 of Batman, or you know, it's just some like crap where it was like out of order. They didn't have the full storylines. It's like, what's the point?
Right. It's like I'm not gonna read like that's one reason why if I go into a comic book shop and I can't buy a volume or I can't find the right number, I'm like, there's no point in me starting a story I can't finish.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if I can find it anywhere.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I have to say, I do like your videos in which you went through a few Star Wars comics and kind of broke down the overall plot and characters and how it kind of ties in with the story. I gotta say, because with DC, I would suggest maybe getting into a few breakdowns in there, because I don't know if I have the time to read like 50 issues of something. I might need it like condensed.
Yeah. There's definitely so much content right out there. It's hard to keep track of it all, and that's kind of one of the things I do on the channel every week. Is you'll fall behind, right? It's just so much stuff that you got to break it down week by week almost, or else you'll just never catch up, you know? So it's like kind of just go towards,
the good bacteria in the stomach helps you digest things as a bro. That would be those videos on Starrapter's channel. They'll help you digest. It's good for you. Our channel will give you gas.
I mean, Maybe an upset stomach. I don't think, you know,
It'll pass.
mild discomfort.
Just a little mild discomfort.
Going back to the streaming service, do you guys think you'll jump on board for the Disney Plus?
Ooh,
That's a
maybe
tough
for the
one.
Mandalorian.
Hell yeah.
I'll do a free trial and see how I like it. They usually do free trials, I think, for that service.
I do know that after Rise of the Skywalker, Disney's like, okay, taking a break from the movies, all TV now, which I'm all for. I'm like, yeah, you guys should do that. You should do more TV Star Wars stuff.
Yeah, so I actually seen what they did with the Mandalorian at Celebration, and you guys, you know, I won't tell you where, but you can find the footage online because they didn't actually
go ahead.
officially release it. You know, you can find it if you're looking for it. So they showed like some of the Mandalorian, and it's top notch.
We spoiler warned.
It's basically like watching a movie,
quality, man. Oh, I was gonna say it's movie quality.
Oh yeah, they've gone. They talked for 10 minutes about how Jon Favreau, like the freaking showrunner, went in his garage and filmed like several passes of this like model ship that he made. So he basically did something that they did in the original trilogy with like George Lucas, how they would do like the practical effects and take their time and all that.
George had to do it back then. It wasn't a choice.
But that's what I mean. It's like so awesome.
Like, I'm just like Lucas. I'm a genius. Just use the computer CGI image, you asshole.
It actually looked really good, though. I mean, you could tell between if something's CGI and something's like actual practical. So that aspect I enjoyed because that tells me like they're really going into the intricacies of actually making this thing look as good as possible. And I think they said somewhere online like the budget is like 10 million an episode.
Jesus,
that's
Christ.
Ridiculous. I know.
How much was the Game of Thrones episode?
About the same. So it's their version of like their big triple, obviously Star Wars. But
if Disney is gonna drop $8 million per episode, I think we can drop $8.
That's what I mean. It was like it's so cheap.
I would add it. It's like, listen, we've actually spent money, so
yeah. And think about it this way. So let's say I think they said the season 1 is going to be and there's a rumor for season 2 already. It's going to be like 8 episodes. Dude, that's awesome. I mean, we wait like 2 years for a 2-hour movie, and we're going to get like 8 1-hour episodes, like, or I don't know how long, probably 45 minutes, like every single week. Like, come on, that's gonna be amazing.
So if if the mouse came up to you, Disney, and was like, "Hey, Starrapter, we want to make a Star Wars TV show to keep up with our content. What do you suggest? What's the setting? What's the story?"
I would have to go to the Old Republic. I don't know if you guys are aware of all of that with Knights Old Republic. Yeah, Knights Old Republic and all. And it doesn't have to be directly related to that, but I want to see something that's like way out of left field that's not connected with Skywalkers or anybody that's like way in the past. Like maybe like when the Sith were in the thousands and the Jedi were in the thousands. Like how did it get whittled down to where there's only 2 Sith and very little Jedi? And even like
say, yeah. I like it better when there's like a crap ton of Jedi and Sith. Even in the Clone Wars, the Sith always felt like they were just sleeking off around in the shadows and kind of just taking their times of opportunity. I really didn't get a good sense of their presence. With the Jedi, they were firmly there. The order was established. So we've never seen like both sides on equal footing unless it's like one-on-one.
Yeah, now there's a Legends trilogy of books called Darth Bane trilogy.
I've heard of them.
This is my favorite book trilogy or favorite books in general for Star Wars. They're incredible. It's actually written by the same guy that made the Knights of the Republic story, Drew Karpyshyn, and it's all about exactly that. It's like this guy Bane was the mastermind behind the Rule of Two. There's always a master and an apprentice, like because he, you know, the Sith were always infighting against each other for power, and they never got anything done because they were too busy trying to kill each other all the time. So he was like, you know what, I'm going to just end all of them and just focus on a master and apprentice because then we'll actually be able to accomplish more against the Jedi and stuff like that. And that's ultimately what he did. So I think like having something focused on like maybe Darth Bane would be a pretty freaking cool thing to do. And I think, and it's a great thing about the series. I mean, like watching Game of Thrones, like you have so much more character development because you have so much more time than like a 2 hour movie to do it in, you know?
And with the success of Venom, the comic book movie, and they're also working on a Morbius movie,
Oh yeah.
the kind of anti-hero vibe, it's kind of now. That's the opportunity. And I think Bane from Star Wars would fit that perfectly. I feel like the Mandalorian. I feel like that's more of a kind of come off kind of like a cowboyish, but in space.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's
Fine,
hard to say. Like
but I wouldn't say
Mandalorians, yeah.
that's a straight up anti-hero.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting because the way I seen the clips and all, I was like, he could be kind of an anti-hero because he's walking into this place, there's stormtroopers around, and they're firing at him, or he's not. They're actually not firing at him yet, but they have him at gunpoint, just pulling weapons on him real quick. Like, yeah, I haven't seen anything that looked like it could be him being just a bad guy, like the Punisher, right? Like that is one of my favorite anti-heroes, especially the Marvel series that they've had him in. Has been
Yeah,
incredible, I thought.
good casting on that one, I'll say.
Oh yeah. Hmm.
What about you, Peck? If you had to pick a Star Wars TV show,
So
thank you. You make me regret asking you that question immediately.
well, you should know this already, Carl. What do you want? Okay, what would you want me to say?
I tell him 3 days ago, hey, we're gonna be doing a podcast with this guy. He does a lot of Star Wars stuff. And then there it comes 3 days later. I ask Star Wars question. Oh, I don't know, man.
What, did you expect me to just like eat up everything Star Wars in 3 days?
Oh,
no, that's impossible. I'm
just get an intravenous of Star Wars just going through your veins.
Fine, I'll take the pill tonight, and and we'll figure it out from there. And then I'll come back to you, Carl, with an answer.
You won't watch Game of Thrones.
I said I was going to. I'm not even moved in here yet.
I'm moving. This is an excuse.
Yeah. Oh yeah, an excuse. I don't see you helping.
You've got a screen in your pocket. Just take it out and watch shows.
Fine.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, I mean, it gets hard though. Honestly, I used to watch like 7 to 10 series, like at once, like last year. And then what happened was I got a job that required a hell of a lot more hours than my previous job, and hey, I just don't have time anymore. But I used to watch like all the CW shows, like every single one, like Arrow, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow. I watched Fargo. I'd watch, Better Call Saul.
Yeah,
I watched The Walking Dead, Fear the Walking Dead.
Exact grind, and yeah, it was unmanageable.
Yeah, it really was.
We're talking like 8 hours of media a day, just sitting there watching. That's some heavy binge.
And that's the problem, is because as soon as it started to feel almost like a damn job, and I was like, I feel like I'm putting in time, clocking in my hours to watch these things. So now it's like, okay, I can only select a couple.
Yeah, eventually you got to learn to say no. No, Better Call Saul. No, The Flash. You're just going to fight a different color Flash this season.
Yeah, I know.
Something better now. 2 seasons, I let you get away with it.
Yeah, that's the thing. The CW shows are so damn formulaic. Like, I feel like every episode's structured exactly the same. It's like the very first couple minutes, you see like this new hero, the villain of the week shows up, causes damage. It does something to where the heroes are alerted. Then they go to the scene. About halfway through the episode, they lose to the villain. Then they go back. They develop some kind of technology to defeat the villain. They do that. Then they basically have like the falling action conclusion, and then they have like a little mini cliffhanger or something that leads to the next episode. And that's pretty much every single episode of every single CW show.
if you haven't watched the CW Flash, you don't have to, because Starrapter just spoiled every episode in the whole series just now. It plays out just like that every episode. Point for point.
So that saves me the time from watching it then.
Yeah.
Heck, what did you think of the series?
Well, like the Flash, it came and it went.
All right. So traditionally, what we do here, Star, is we usually give each other one final recommendation, and so I'm gonna recommend. This goes for conventions we should go to. I should state that. But so one convention I should recommend to you, and it's really out of your way, but there's this cozy little convention up in Portland, Maine called PortCon. It's mainly for anime, but it's in a small hotel room, very small, only about what do you think, Pehk?
Like
500,
like 1,000 people at most.
like about 1,000 people all weekend. So you kind of just get to know people. They do have some voice actors show up, and they've got this just tight knit community. So I would recommend, if you ever are up here in the summertime, to check out Portland, Maine for PortCon.
Okay.
Yeah.
That
What is your recommendation?
That sort of thing. That's my recommendation.
All right. And Star, what's your last recommendation for conventions we should probably check out before we die?
I would say the New York Comic Con once again. I really can't see anything I can compare, just because it's in a city like it's expansive as New York, especially if you haven't been there. There's so much to do outside of the convention that even when the convention closes, there's a lot of exploration, lots of cool places to go to, different food to try, stuff like that. And everything's super easy to get to because the way New York is set up, it's in a grid system, so it's super easy to just find your way to get different things. And yeah, like I said, it's just got so many people. Like you're talking about the 1,000 participant convention, which has got to be cool. Like I would love to go to a smaller convention like that to just, like you said, get to know people, things like that. But just being in this, like, I would say, like, New York Comic Con is great, but like, if you're not a fan of crowds, then you might want to go on like a Thursday when it's a slower day. Because if you show up on like a Friday or Saturday and you go to the convention hall, you might get kind of overwhelmed if you're a little claustrophobic, because it gets pretty toasty in there with everybody kind of just squeezing up, trying to find different things through the different aisles there. So,
and then be in costume.
Yeah, especially like if you have a book bag or something, like people are like constantly like hitting your book bag and you're like, oh, this is getting annoying. Like if you're not in a good state of mind, you could easily get frustrated.
All right, that I will put that on my list.
Me too.
Maybe make a whole freaking summer out of it. Who knows?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Starrapter, we're really glad that you made time for us to come on to the Pehk and Kallabs. I came up with that name. Pretty proud.
Yeah, that's cool. I like it.
Yeah, sure.
All right. So, guys, check out Starrapter's channel. And, hey, check out our channel. Always, please like and subscribe. Hit the bell for updates. All that jazz. Leave a comment on any conventions you've been to that you think either of us should check out. All right. We'll see you on the next podcast.
Pehk and Kall and Starrapter signing off.
Thank you. Have a good night.